Hello BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing the stay-at-home book tag. It was created by Princess of Paperback, and I first discovered this through a video of Steve Donahue's. I will leave links to both videos down below. Lying in Bed. A book you could or have read in a day. I'm going to go with Wislawa Szymborska's View with a Grain of Sand. Selected poems. The last time I read this collection, I did read it in a day and greatly enjoyed it. Szymborska is one of my favorite poets. Wish I had more of her work. And perhaps something I should be thinking of here in the near future. Snacking. A guilty pleasure book. I'm going to go with Agatha Christie. Here I have an anthology or omnibus of 5 Miss Marple novels. They include The Mirror Cracked, A Caribbean Mystery, Nemesis, What Mrs. McGillicuddy Saw, or 450 from Paddington, depending upon the edition, and The Body in the Library. Agatha Christie is always a joy to read, a pleasure to read. For what she does, she is phenomenal at it. In this, I really liked The Mirror Cracked, Nemesis, and The Body in the Library. Netflix, a series you want to start. I'm going to go with The Burning. I have the first book in the series, The Rage of Dragons. This is by Evan Winter. It came out late last year. I want to say it's a revenge story. And the sequel should be coming out later this year, barring publishing pushback due to the pandemic. But definitely a book I do want to get around to reading. Deep Clean. A book that has been on your TBR for ages. I have 2 books for this. The first one is Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. It's been bookmarked for probably since I moved in here, give or take. So definitely this has been on my TBR for quite a while, and I have yet to get around to it. I probably should really get around to it here soon. Another book I have that I've been meaning to get to for quite a while is Tanith Lee's Anackire, the sequel to The Stormlord. To be perfectly honest, I didn't really care for The Stormlord all that much, and given that it has been quite a while since I've read The Stormlord, I probably should reread that before I got Anackire, but at some point I'm going to read this book, hopefully. Animal Crossing, a book you recently bought because of hype. It's not a recent purchase, but this is one that I did buy because of the hype, and that is the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. This is book 1 of the Broken Earth trilogy, and a book I probably should get to, although, as I've discussed recently, I do have a struggle with her work. I read The Killing Moon not too long ago, and I didn't particularly care for it. And so there is some trepidation, I think, with retackling Jemisin, but we shall see. Productivity. A book you learned or had an impact on you. Well, I guess it should be rephrased as a book you learned from or a book that had an impact on you. No offense, but some of these prompts could have been better worded. I'm going to go with The Critical Tradition, edited by David H. Richter. I read, this was the textbook for my literary theory class, and I discovered that I'm actually quite fond of literary theory as it for itself, rather than what I can mine to interpret other literature. That some of these, some of the pieces collected in this anthology were quite good. See the piece by R.S. Crane. I think in a few others, but definitely the Crane piece was phenomenal. So yeah, I have been thinking about maybe dipping back into this collection for a while. Oh, maybe something I should do when I'm not too busy or buried under 1,000 other books I need to read. FaceTime, a book you were gifted. Now, I wasn't physically given this book. I had a gift card from Barnes & Noble, and I bought some books using that. And this was one of the books I bought for Christmas, in 2018, I think, would have been it. Or maybe 2019, sometime around in there. I want to say it was 2018. So this is Pastel Pointers by Richard McKinley. It's a book on pastel, advice on how to paint in pastel, ways of thinking about composition, also a bit on the business end of painting and being a pastel artist, equipment, that sort of thing. So yeah, I really greatly enjoyed reading this book when I read it a few years ago, and probably will reread it at some point in the future. Anyway, and finally, self-care. What is one thing you have done recently to look after yourself? So before the stay-at-home orders and all of that, I would go every day except for the weekends on about a 15 to 45, 50-minute walk, depending on the time. Usually it would be like a 15-minute walk or 20-minute walk Monday through Thursday, and then I would do an hour-long walk or nearly an hour-long walk on Fridays. I would usually walk to like a certain route. Normally when it was on Fridays, I would try to walk to a church that's quite a ways from where I live, and then walk back. But since there's a shelter-in-place order, I can't really do that in good conscience. So instead, what I have been doing is every day, Monday through Friday, on Mondays through Thursdays, I basically pace back and forth in my room for about 30 minutes, and then on Fridays, I'll try to get like an hour of pacing in. And it's been quite fun. I've actually quite enjoyed it. It's also what I do before I go to bed, is I shut everything down and like go walk around the living room for a little bit before I go to bed. Hopefully trying to help me sleep a little bit better. But anyway, so that was the Staying at Home book tag. If you are interested in doing this tag, consider yourselves tagged, and I will see you in a few hours with a weekly reads. So until then, BookTube, have a great day and stay safe.